the recording industry today is completely different than it used to be. Rick Beato and Tim Pierce had a great interview recently where it's a short interview, and I got the sense that Rick was kind of moving away from certain subjects that they could have talked about more, but they didn't for some reason. And I love all Rick's interviews. The dude's amazing. Everything he does, I feel like is worth watching, and you learn a ton from it. So I recommend it highly. A part of their conversation, Tim basically said the middle has become hollowed out. That's the biggest negative of this industry at the moment, is that there were so many jobs for people that used to get great sounds and were part of a studio when studios were the only way that people could record. Those jobs all went away. And it just got me thinking that nothing in life is one-sided at all. Is it better to have the ability to self-publish our own music anytime we want? We can make a song, put it out there, and potentially the world could get to hear it. But it's also in a sea of people doing the same thing, and it's literally one little speck of sand in a sandbox. How are they going to find you? And it becomes, what else do we have to do in order to get seen or heard or just have our message received? When we make music, we make it for ourselves. Most people are not making it with the thought of, we're going to be famous. So I think that if you're making it for yourself in order to feel like you've accomplished a thought, you've got an emotion out, you're putting you on paper. You get some sort of sense of relief from it when you're done because you accomplished the goal of who you are. That's the part of the writing the music. You're trying to put you in there and make it real and true, and you believe it when you're done that you got the point across. Well, for everyone who's doing that, you still want people at least to appreciate what you've done to some degree. I mean, we could say all we want that we make it for us, but we do want some sort of somebody to be like, I've had that feeling too. And a lot of us feel like all we have to do is have people hear it for somebody, some group of those people, even if it's a small group, to feel what we're feeling. If they would only hear it, that would be great. And now in the sea of people that exist, it's so hard to get heard, to get seen. So what does this mean? Well, it means a lot of things, but one hand, it means doing the things you don't want to do. Do the stuff you don't want to do. The bands that did get heard, get seen, and became that top percentage of bands that are, able to tour and pack stadiums, and those bands had to do so many things they didn't want to do along the way. And today we self-publish. So the only one forcing you to do stuff should be you. There's no one else who's going to force you to do it. And unfortunately, what that means is a lot of people just don't do stuff. They don't put themselves out there by being, willing to be embarrassed, learning new things that they never thought they would have to learn, getting comfortable being in front of a camera, learning how to basically just get their idea out there by using means of promotion that are available today for everyone and don't cost anything except for time. And, it also costs you the ability to fight the fear is a cost, because some people, it's just so destructive every time they do something and they hope for something back and they don't get it. So that'll take a toll on you if you let it. But if you're strong enough to realize and have it, maybe it's just some people can literally just be like, I know if I keep doing this, it'll work. So it's like a blind faith, and you do it for a long enough time without getting anything from it. No payment, no views, no likes, no nothing. If you just believe in what you're doing and keep doing it and then keep honing it a little to get better and better through time. If you have that blind faith, I think those are the people that could really make it today. Or when I say make it, I just mean get heard by that small group of people who may really appreciate what you're doing, because that exists out there, I think, for everyone. If enough people hear it, you'll find your crew. You'll find your group that love it. So in my opinion, it's like, get comfortable doing these things that are ridiculous that you think you don't want to do. I'm such an advocate of being uncomfortable, and I'm such an advocate of learning new things, and I'm such an advocate of starting something you didn't think you would ever want to do ever. Because many, many people find what they love by doing things they thought they hated. You think it's so hard to be a creator or this or that, only because you haven't done it. There's people who have amazing messages who could have a conversation with you in public, just talk your ear off, and you're just thinking to yourself, man, if this was on a video, it'd be great. But that person, if you told them that, they would be like, I could never do that. It's like, why not? Because it wouldn't work, and blah. How would you know? You never tried. How would you know? You got to be willing to fail. It'll be scary, but so what? You're not going to die. As soon as this happened, where the industry completely changed and everyone was recording at home, once the middle got hollowed out, you'll hear Tim say, the middle got hollowed out, then Rick changes the subject. The middle got hollowed out, but those jobs, the people who could get sounds, Tim calls them regular people. And that's the thing, I think, is that so many people who worked in the music industry, recording industry, were regular people. In other words, they weren't the artist, they weren't a star, they weren't the producer who was a star, technically, if you were among the handful of guys in the 90s, for example, who were the producer on 90% of the stuff. Like, if you were one of those handful of guys, you were the star. They had their guys who were their engineers, and there were engineers for the engineers. I mean, there was this assistants. There was just so many people working who weren't the star that had jobs, and even session players. For a large part of all those guys who would spend all their time doing sessions, the amount of work has gone down so tremendously because of things like loop packs, because of the ability to just, fart something into AI and it'll come back with a guitar part farting the notes you did. I mean, you could just create in so many other ways today, which allows for the non-musician to make music, but it also takes the jobs away from the musicians who used to be the ones that would have to get paid to do those jobs. So that's the middle being hollowed out. But what I'm basically saying is that middle, I wouldn't call it hollowed out. I would call it getting repurposed. It got repurposed where those people now, they almost have to have a little more ambition and drive to do more things, because now you can't just be a specialized, you're just the engineer. You almost have to do other things now if you want to get any sort of connection towards something more than you're at. If you want to swing from where you're at to somewhere else, a little closer to maybe doing what you want to do, you have to start by really putting your foot into a few arenas. You can't just be the guy who arranges anymore. Those guys existed. Now you got to be the guy who engineers, the guy who arranges, the guy who mixes, the guy who produces. You got to start to be all the guys. And for all the people out there who are already doing that, then you really know what I'm saying. You saw the writing on the wall probably, and you went into this knowing that you're going to have to work harder, work twice as long as people who work normal jobs that aren't, fulfilling their soul on a day-to-day basis. The people who work those jobs can work normal hours. The people who do what they want to do for a living, they work twice as hard or more. Rick's mentioned it often, how often he works. He works like crazy, 100 hours a week or more. There's always a double shift is the point. That's what I'm trying to say. Tim's is the same way. Tim works 7 days a week, he said. He's not taking days off. He's not taking vacations. And there's a lot of people out there who want to live, and they want to work to be able to live. They don't want to live to do the work that they love. That's a whole different mentality and mindset. It pays to know who you are. If you know that you don't have the ambition to put yourself out there every day in an arena you don't like putting out some kind of content or something, then just realize that you're just really hampering your chances, because you're basically like a business that doesn't market itself now. That's the thing. In order to separate yourself from the sea of people, you have to learn how to market yourself. That's why the bands that do still get successful, a lot of them did it through marketing themselves well, and they can do that on social media. They can use the tools available to them to do it, to market themselves. They're not paying a publicist $3,000 a freaking month to market them. They're doing it themselves. So they're creative enough to come up with a way to do it. And you know what? I bet you all their creative ideas, some of them are bad, some of them are okay, some of them never get put up. A lot of them they just do anyway, hoping it'll work. It never, until something works. So just really give things a try in terms of, don't be so scared not to try things. The worst thing you could do, and I've had people in my life say this, is like, well, you don't want to be known for that because then it's like, it's terrible to be known for doing something that was so embarrassing or this or that. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. Just get known for anything that has to do with what you love in any way. And then you watch what can happen. There's really no negative to becoming something you never thought you were going to become, because who's to say you can't change that and become somebody else? So it's like, I just don't get it. Live your life without the thought of other people, what they're going to say, and how bad something can be. Anytime your brain starts telling you, I hope this doesn't happen because if, you're worrying about things that may never, ever, ever come to fruition. And you're talking to somebody in me who could worry about everything that could never happen from today till the time I no longer exist. I have the ability to come up with every possible bad situation that you could possibly imagine at the tip of my fingers. The snap, bam. I'll come up with 100 ways things could go bad. So if people like us, because I'm not alone, if we could ruin our own success by overthinking everything there is, so can you. So just wind up just doing things and just take that instinct thing inside and really try to filter it through, is this going to kill me or not? And if not, just do it. Like, just do it, man. Freaking go for it. I just think you'll wind up regretting the times you don't so much more than the times you do. Check this out real quick, and then I just want to hear your thoughts on this because I wanted more of this part of the conversation. This is fair use for teaching purposes. Fair use for teaching purposes.
I saw it happen in New York in the 90s because of real estate and the expense of just living there. The studio business began to go away. And I used to work at the power station when it was a for-hire studio to the public, and at the record plant there too. And then I saw it begin to happen in LA. I never thought it would happen here. I mean, a friend of mine told me that when I first moved here, that there were 60 recording rooms on a 3-mile stretch of Magnolia Boulevard. And that was like Devonshire, O. Henry, Evergreen, so many studios, so many rooms, and they're all gone, except for Royal Tone, which is now Stevie Wonder's studio. There were studios everywhere, and most of them had unmarked doors because they didn't want anybody to know they were there. And it all changed, and in some ways I'm glad it changed because it put the power into the hands of the musician. But it also has hollowed out the middle as far as, there were a lot of jobs that regular people had that were very talented at getting sounds, making records.
So when it comes to things like guitar gear, so this guitar...
I don't think Rick wanted to focus so much on that because it has a little bit of a negative connotation to it, obviously. So there's no right or wrong here. I'm really curious what you guys think about this because ultimately complaining doesn't help. So a big part of me never wants to just be like, man, things are different and it sucks and we're never going to survive this. We're never going to get back. I hate that. There's a positive outlook here too, but you have to be willing to do the things you never thought you'd like to do in order to really get any of the benefits from the positive stuff. We always will have to do things we don't want to do in order to grow in life no matter what. No growth is comfortable. It's painful. So if you have to go through stuff you don't want to do in order to get someplace that might be way better than where you're at, just realize, man, have the faith that you can do it and do it. That's my experience with it. Is just, I never thought I'd like talking daily videos, doing this, but it's really something that it enriches my soul a lot to do it. It makes me feel good to help people in this way. I never would have thought I would ever have done that. So you don't really know what you're going to like. Give it a shot. Give something a shot that might get you closer. Don't be afraid to market yourself. People might really love to hear whatever you think of, your creativity, what you got to say, or the way you would make a video that's funny or entertaining, or just go for something. Don't put it in other people's hands because a lot of those people see you coming. They're just out there to take the money that you will give them because they know you don't want to work hard for whatever. So they'll take your money. They tell you they're going to put you on playlists and get you views and they're just milking you. They're milking the money out of you, because ultimately, if you don't keep up a constant promotion that's true, organic, real growth, like you're not paying for ads and views or likes, if you're just real, if it's totally real, it has a shot of being sustainable. And if it's not, I just don't see it working. Not only that, they can never write a campaign to get you where you want to go as good as you could come up with something, because it's you and you're promoting you like you are the artist. And this is so different. A lot of people just think the good old days back in the day, Zeppelin didn't have to come up with a way to promote Zeppelin. We don't live in that time. So it's uncomfortable to come up with a way to promote. I used to hate self-promoting for my band. When I have to tell people to come see me and stuff, it's my worst thing. I hated it. I would way prefer to tell no one and hope people showed up. But it didn't usually work out, because you have to have some people there for other people to think it's something worth seeing too. You have to try to promote yourself even though you hate it. It's just something that we have to do today. And if you don't, you just really run the risk of being just one in a sea of people. So you guys got this, all right? Keep in mind, this kind of thing sounds like a lot of whatever until you start doing it, and then it could just become what you're doing now. Don't look at the results. Just keep doing it. See what happens over enough time. Give it a long time. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.